The recovery conference devoted to Ukraine was held in London during 21st, 22nd of June. Representatives of more than 60 countries and 400 businesses discussed the possible ways to rebuild and support Ukraine.
Until 2027, Ukraine's remaining fiscal gap is about 60 billion euros. The needs for fast recovery on top are about 50 billion euros. That makes in total 110 billion euros until 2027 that are not covered. Therefore, yesterday I proposed to EU member states to cover 45% of this gap. This is in total 50 billion euros for Ukraine.
There is no doubt that the support for Ukraine will continue as long as it takes.
So there is no better place to announce today the new London Conference framework for war risk insurance. This is a huge step forward towards helping insurers to underwrite investments into Ukraine, removing one of the biggest barriers and giving investors the confidence they need to act. With this and everything that we do here, we are sending a message that our support on the battlefield and beyond cannot be outlasted, and that Ukraine's incredible spirit will prevail.
Ukraine insists that this is not just help or charity. This support is an investment in stability in the region.
This conference, we must move from vision to agreements and from agreements to real projects. There is a Ukrainian delegation in London that will present concrete things that we propose to do together.
There is no development without the security guarantees, and the United Kingdom knows how to provide it.
We have seen Ukraine evolve and evolve incredibly quickly. Jens Stoltenberg at the NATO informal foreign ministers said that actually many of the requirements of the membership action plan are actually being delivered. The reform of their armed forces is happening whilst engaged in conflict. I think the UK's position would be very, very supportive if we moved on from the membership action plan, recognising that the offer to both Sweden and Finland didn't require that. And the Ukrainians have demonstrated their commitment to reform, the military reform required for NATO membership through their actions on the battlefield, and I think all NATO allies recognise that.
Despite the war and other problems, Ukraine has what to propose to investors.
I think probably the most exciting thing is the number of British businesses who have turned up because they are interested in participating in the rebuilding of Ukraine. I have met more British businesses for the first time in this conference than I have my whole 4 years in the job.
The state and society are in process of constant changes and development.
You know that if a person is in all of that every day, he does not always see the changes that are taking place, and when having a little distance, you can notice them. For example, I came across an American lawyer I know here today who was very active in Ukraine in the 1990s, and he says, listen, those people who now come from Ukraine here, who act, who represent, who are from business, they are completely different people from those that I met in the 1990s. They're English-speaking, professional, how European education, total digitalization, connection to processes. So sometimes it seems to me that people in Ukraine itself and the countries closest to it do not have enough distance to step back for a moment and see those changes. It's like your own children. You never notice them grow up, and then whoops, one day they become adults, while other people's children are growing up before your eyes. And I think it is somewhat similar with Ukraine as a country.
Vitaly Sizov, Ruslan Kuzgov from London for The Gaze.